And gentlemen, I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. So we are now looking at tier 7. We've had a look at tier 6, which of course is the Thunder, which is the lowest DPM tank in tier 6. Well, today we're going to look at tier 7. Now this tank is it's an interesting tank. It really is an interesting tank. In fact, it was one of a kind back then. You know, it was one of the first, if not actually the first Halloween tank to come into the game. In fact, when I joined the game, I believe the Tankenstein event was just starting. So yeah, it's been around for a while. It has been around for a long time. So what is the tank like? Yes, it has low DPM, but what is the tank actually like? Now, first off, it does have two separate guns. Both of them are tier 8, but one of them, obviously, we're going to look at the first one. So the DPM is 1796, which is only 157 DPM more than the next gun. But what this tank has is obviously the reload time is a lot less. I mean, 6.48 seconds less than the other gun, but the penetration is slightly more. The guns are different because this one has AP and APCR and of course HE, whereas the Alpha is only 310 on your AP. 260 on your APCR, where with this gun it has a very there's only a couple of guns like this, like maybe 3, the SU-100Y and the ISU-130, I believe, whereas it has 2 AP rounds. One of them is the normal standard AP. It has higher pen than the premium AP. So the premium AP has less pen. But with these guns, the premium AP actually has more alpha. So if you're just shooting the standard AP, you're doing 460 alpha. Whereas if you're shooting the premium AP, you are doing 530. So yeah, so obviously if you are up against lower tier tanks, then you want to be using that premium AP as much as possible. Of course, your HE there is 600. No gun depression, pretty much 6 degrees, so you do struggle with the gun depression as well. Aim time really bad and dispersion really bad. Now with this gun, the DPM is 1639. So I mean, the tank is it's basically based off a KV, sort of a KV3. It's okay. It's okay. There's nothing really special about the tank. You can run it with whatever gun you pretty much want to run it with, if I'm honest. If you want the higher DPM, I mean, the DPM is nothing compared. I mean, it's 100, just over 100 DPM if you compare guns. But it all depends if you like this kind of gun, you know, with the premium round, or if you like just the normal alpha but a lot less reload. So 300 plus alpha, but the reload is nearly 7 seconds less than this one. So you do have to be careful. Back in the day, the armor profile on this was quite scary, but now with all the different tanks that are around, it is easily you can deal with it easily. You can really deal with it very, very easily. The front plate's quite, or the lower plate at least, and the hatch on top is easily pennable as well. Do not come side on to a smasher, because a smasher will be able to HE your side. So yeah, against tier 6s, then yeah, the armor profile might work a little bit, but other than that, the armor profile really isn't that special. The only decent thing about the tank is that gun, you know, the alpha of that premium round. Of course, if you are going to come up against tanks like the Object 252 here, then you will need to run the normal round. Now I do sadly bounce that shot, and that's what you got to be careful of, because your DPM is extremely low and your reload is extremely high. Then you need to make every shot count. You really have to make every shot count, because you're reloading for a long time. And as you can see here, we're going to use just the normal round. We still do 460 alpha, which isn't too bad at all. And that's pretty much game over that game. But I mean, back in the day when they done the event there, you could get this tank for free. It wasn't too difficult. Now sadly I didn't get the tank for free, but that was because like I literally just joined in the game, so I didn't even know what the event meant. I didn't even know what stats meant. I didn't even know there was a win rate or an average damage. I didn't know any of that, so I wasn't going to go and play for the event. But over time, of course, I managed to get the tank. I don't regret getting the tank. I really don't regret getting the tank. It's still a good tank to have in your garage. You know, it is something different, or well, it was something different back then. Other than the SU100Y, it was, you know, it had them two shells, one with a high alpha and one with a lower alpha but more pen, and you never really see anything like that. Everyone's used to using premium round that has less alpha but more penetration, because that is what premium rounds is, where this is different. So with the SU100Y, of course, that is a tier 6, this one's a tier 7, and then you've got the SU130 that has that as well, and that's in tier 8. So there's 3 different tanks like it, each in different tiers. So it's not like they're all in the same tier, they are all in different tiers. But other than that, like, the tank isn't that exciting now. There's plenty of other Halloween tanks that are all better than this. In fact, this is probably one of the worst Halloween tanks out there. As we know, we've got the Hellsin, the Dracula, the Lycon, and tanks like that. So there is plenty of other Halloween tanks out there that is much better than this, but it still packs a punch. You know, if you're able to get that premium round into certain enemies, then you're still able to conflict a lot of damage. Like, you can still hurt them with this gun. And so yeah, and you just got to make that count. I mean, that shot there I've just had, that we're gonna pretend that never happened, because that was I still bounced, like I bounced the side of an Object 244. So other than that, like, nowadays, is it worth trying to get if you've got the chance to get it? Probably not. I mean, when it does come for sale, it is fairly cheap, to be honest. You're probably looking at around 5k gold, whereas years ago, like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, that would be a lot more than that. Just like the Dracula is now. Like, when the Dracula comes, it normally never gets sold directly. It's always in crates, and this was the kind of thing back then as well. Like, there was no other tank like it. It was one of the first sort of proper made up Halloween tanks that goes off from another tank, so it's like one of a kind back then. But nowadays, you know, we're used to seeing made up tanks. We're used to seeing these funny looking tanks, so we are kind of used to it. So yeah, that is the tier 7 lowest DPM tank in the game, and again, a tank like this, it doesn't matter too much that the DPM is low, because it is all about that alpha. It's all about that alpha, but unfortunately, just the tank itself isn't that strong nowadays. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. Was you surprised that the Tankenstein is down there right at the bottom of that DPM list? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, I hope you enjoyed today's video. We'll be back tomorrow for tier 8. I will see you then. Bye bye.